My name's Joanna Moriarty. I'm an associate partner at Green Park and I work in the charities and social enterprise practice, recruiting senior leaders, so that's chief executives and what tends to be called C-suite, so the people that report to the chief executive. And we also do boards and chairs of boards in charities, and so we see the very top level of leadership at which strategy is set, challenge and support happens, and the organisation is held to account. So we are very interested in ensuring that people get people who will be able to lead those organisations. Organisations will come to us and give us a brief, tell us what they're looking for, what the role is like, what sort of person they're looking for. We will typically talk to them about whether that works in terms of what the market has. If their salary level is way off, for example, we will help them to manage that. But we will then go out and research in the marketplace. We will talk to organisations, talk to sources, people that we know, people that are recommended. Typically we'll talk to 150 people maybe to get a sense of who is good. So the people that we refine down to are people that we know quite a lot about. I think it's really important to be able to see curiosity in people, that they're always interested, their brains are always switched on, they're always looking to see, why do we do it this way, what are we looking for, why do we do it like this? And independence of thought, so people who will be prepared to question things, not people who are always challenging, always, why don't we do it my way, but people who have built themselves a sense of what the organisation is doing and how it could do it, maybe how it could do it differently. It's always important to us to see people who are looking at the bigger picture, how they fit within their organisations, that particularly when you're interviewing more junior people, which I have done in my capacity as the chair of governors in the primary school and in other kinds of recruiting. You're looking for people who see how what they do fits with the organisation and see how it fits in the wider environment. Another thing that we are always looking at is what people say about values, how their values align with the values of the organisation, not in a slavish way, but in terms that there is a good enough fit, and particularly with charities, that people understand the financial and the value for money and the resources dimension of what they do, that it's not just about delivering goals, but making sure that that is viable and sustainable, because sustainability is crucial for leaders to be aligned with sustainability. Well, what we will typically do is, once we have a pool of candidates identified, we will have an hour or so conversation with them. Typically we will talk to them about and what comes out of that conversation is we're looking for not just the answers to those questions, but what we gauge about people in the course of the conversation, and we will then write a report on how we see that person's suitability. We're not generally looking at their motor skills for the job that they want to do. We are assessing them at their personality and to a certain extent their fit with the organisation. So we're not asking questions that will catch people out. We want to hear them talk and hear what they're like. We will always ask them about motivation, which tells us often about what their path up till now has been, how committed they are to that organisation, which is very important, how they can articulate that, how much they care, how much research they've done, how much it matters to them to do that kind of job. We will just get them to talk about how they have got where they are. We will be listening out in terms of leadership for people who are know the difference between what they've done and what other people have done. People who are giving credit to other people, sometimes by name, that's very important. But we're also wanting to make sure that people will talk to us about what we did as a team. How much of it was what they did, particularly how much was what they initiated. So we're looking for people who will initiate things and be able to see them through, but are not taking credit for things that actually other people did, because that is not a good thing to be seeing. We are interested to know what people say about setbacks, how they've dealt with setbacks, how they deal with challenges, Particularly, you don't want to be hearing everything was always somebody else's fault. So you're trying to pull out, what did you do when things were difficult? What did you remember to do? How did you consult people? How did you make sure that people were kept in the loop? How did you do the human side, the strategic side, the regulatory side perhaps? How did you make sure that what you did was compliant? So we're listening out for that. The most important thing that we are testing though is people's judgment, and judgment is a tricky one to test, and we've done actually as an organisation a lot of research on how organisations test judgment, because it's absolutely crucial and it's hard to know. You will know people's backgrounds, you'll know what they've done in particular situations. Some organisations will do it through scenario testing, so you just say to somebody, when was the last time somebody asked you to cross a line? What did you do in this situation? Supposing this happened, what would your priorities be? And so it's a way of getting to the bottom of how good someone's judgment is, which is one of the absolute fundamentals of leadership. Plus, will people come with you? Do you have the abilities, the interpersonal skills to take people with you? When you're faced with a question, how do you handle it? Are you concise? Are you focused? Can you marshal your thoughts? All these things will contribute to, either in a crisis or not, will you be able to bring an organisation with you, which is one of the fundamental of, will this person do a good job in a leadership role in an organisation? I think being able to talk about how you fit in your organisation and how that fits in the wider world are really important. So being able to scan the horizon is very important, seeing yourself in the context, so being able to come in and say, we are the 4th biggest in our field and we are aiming to get to X, our turnover is this, particularly with more junior people where you can see that they are interested beyond what they need for their day-to-day. So showing that you can do that, showing that you can tackle a question about what happened when something went wrong, without showing that you were expecting the question, that you know how to reflect on it, that you can say, this is what I learned, is very important. So that always coming back to the curiosity, independent thinking, and that wider horizon.